terminal. So what we've got here is a C90, C40, C60, C20's little silver Blanco there. These devices, as well as all the MXP devices that are Tamper, they're not legacy. They're still out there. They're still in production. But they, as far as I know, but they have a different set of functionality than the C-Series. Here's the thing, though. Tamper historically, I don't know what Cisco's going to do, but historically Tamper has used what I like to call the Radio Shack principle. We are not in the business of making cables. So the cables that we use, with the exception of one cable, are all standard. We use XLR because it's high quality audio. We use HDMI because it's high def video and audio together. We use DVI because it's very commonly used. The Radio Shack principle, in my estimation, is if we have a cable on here, with the exception of the camera control and power cable, you should be able to go to your local Radio Shack and replace it if it breaks. And we're not in the business of forcing you at the time to go to Norway to get a replacement cable. So let's take a look at this. And by the way, feel free to go to the workstations. Just be careful of that camera over there. I appreciate that. On the left-hand side, stage right here left, you will find the video inputs. You have 13 video inputs, 13 of them. 5 of them can be active simultaneously in a video conference. You can simultaneously send 5 different video sources through the C90. Through the C60, I believe it's 3. Through the C40, I believe it's 2, although I got to check those numbers. Is that right, Joe?
That sounds about right. Yeah. I'm thinking about the chart in my head.
Yeah, that's like you told me. And by the way, I'm a big fan of Albert Einstein, who was sometimes known to be fairly bright. Right? Albert Einstein, my favorite quote from him is, "I'm not going to waste any effort memorizing something I can easily pick up." Now, I'm the same way. Okay? So, my numbers aren't exact. I will look them up and make sure they are exact. So, on the video input side, we have four HDMI inputs. Oddly enough, they are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just the way the mechanics work. They are not 1, 2, 3, and 4 left to right. Now, HDMI 1 and 2 were specifically built for video cameras. Now, what do you know about HDMI cables? Does anybody know anything about HDMI cables? This is the AV side. No? In terms of what kind of information you can send? Yeah, that's the key, right? Well, HDCP is another issue. HDMI cables carry both audio and video. These two inputs do not support audio. Why? They're made to come out of a camera. Unless you're brand P, nobody else in the world thinks it's advisable to put a microphone on a camera with a motor. Doesn't make sense to anybody but brand P.
You mean those 2 inputs, but the others do?
HDMI 1 and 2 do not support audio in, 3 and 4 do. So if you're taking information out of the DVD player, putting it in number 3, it'll support audio and video. Okay, or even a cable box. I don't know why you do that, but you could. Then, of course, we've got our DVI-I. Now, there are 3 different types of DVI inputs. What's DVI stand for? Anybody know? Digital video interface. There's a DVI-A, a DVI-D, and a DVI-I. Does anybody know the difference? Analog, digital, then integrated. Supports both analog and digital. So, we support DVI-I. Big difference, DVI-A and DVI-D have different pinouts. Both will be supported by this. Is everybody okay with that? Now, using DVI, you are not sending audio with the video. You have to have separate audio inputs. And of course, you've got your standard component, or RCA jacks. Is everybody okay with that? Now, in addition to that, we have 4 inputs that are high def serial digital interface, HD-SDI. HD-SDI run on RG59 coax, 75 ohm coax. Now, if you've never dealt with coaxial cable, oh, it's far. However, you can transmit very high quality much further than on either a DVI or an HDMI. Doesn't support audio unless you have some sort of converter, combiner, but you can transport it much further. So if you have a classroom environment like this, and you decided that for some reason the camera's there and the lectern's over there, and maybe you want to put the codec up there so you can plug right into it from the lectern, that's a hell of a run. HDMI will not support that distance with the quality that you want. HD-SDI is probably the best bet. And there's also the standard RGB. What's RGB? Red, green, blue, yeah, basically. So you've got your standard, this is professional and consumer, two different RGB inputs. Then of course you've got your composite. So you've got a lot of video inputs here, 13 of them. 5 can be active